I think it was nice because that was one thing that a lot of us had in common. We had Bible class throughout the school year. So, and we also had chapel every single Friday. We had chapel where someone would preach the Bible. And I think that was one thing that connected us. It was nice to be able to go to school and know that the people around me had the same values.
I'm Agnes Stowicki, Managing Editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private and independent schools to bring you insights into school programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administration. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
I think what I appreciated the most about OCS is the sense of community. Of course, it was a school, and of course, we would go there every day to learn and get our education, but it really felt like one big family. And I think that was because of how great the class sizes were and just the warm feeling that we would get from the teachers and all of the staff that worked at the school. I would definitely say one obvious thing that differentiates it from other schools is the fact that it is a Christian school. So at its core, the foundation is just being a place where God is represented and where students are able to learn about God and grow in their faith. I think that, at least for me, it was a place where the seeds were planted. And that's ultimately what led to me being who I am today, and me being able to walk out my faith in life. So I would say that's definitely one thing that differentiates it from other schools. And then on top of that, I would also say that it's a very family-centered school. So of course, the kids are there every single day, but they have opportunities for parents to be involved in day-to-day life. So parents can volunteer at the school. And then they also just foster that family-centered feeling where they invite parents to come watch the kids and plays and at sports competitions. And even I remember when I was there, I recognized my friends' parents in the school. So it just felt, again, like a family-oriented place. I would say very funny. I think if the school were a person, it would definitely be funny, because a lot of the memories that I have from OCS are just fun memories and funny times and moments that I shared with the teachers, that I shared with my friends. It honestly, when I think about my time at the school, it just brings a smile to my face. So I would say funny. And then I would say athletic, because I remember that our sports teams were really good, and I had a lot of fun being a part of all of the different sports that we had that they offered throughout the year. And we were pretty good. So I would say that as a school, we were pretty athletic. And then I would also say that the school has integrity. And I think that's really important, because seeing the way that the teachers taught us and the way that our principal led the school, that instilled in us integrity and the importance and the value of it. And I think that's something that all of us graduates have carried with us through our lives. So yeah, I would say integrity. That's a bit more on the serious side, but yeah. Yeah, I would definitely say the Christianity aspect connects the students at the school. I think it was nice because that was one thing that a lot of us had in common. We had Bible class throughout the school year. So, and we also had chapel every single Friday. We had chapel where someone would preach the Bible. And I think that was one thing that connected us. It was nice to be able to go to school and know that the people around me had the same values and the same beliefs as I did, and that I could go to my teachers with, any advice that I needed or anything that I wanted to know about my faith. So I definitely think that the Christianity aspect connected us. And then I think another thing that connected us was, I've talked about it before, but again, that community feel where it felt like everyone wanted to be close, not only did you have a relationship with, everyone in your class, but you also had a relationship with everyone across the school. They had programs like reading buddies, where students in grades 7 and 8 would interact with the younger kids and JK, SK, and read to them, or computer buddies. And that was so amazing because, again, that sense of community was built. You had a relationship with people in your class and people who were outside of your class. As older kids got to be mentors to the younger kids. And I remember when I was little, I would look up to my computer buddy and my reading buddy, and I was excited to be that for someone else. So I think the school did a great job of that. And I think that's one thing that allowed us to be so connected and empowered us in that way. Yeah, I would definitely say, like I said, integrity and faith are a big thing. I would also say that the school is very focused on preparing us for not just high school, but for the real world. There was a big emphasis on that. It was nice because it felt like OCS was our safe little bubble, but it was great because they also made sure to emphasize that outside of OCS, there's a world out there where you might face challenges and difficulties, and they did a really great job of preparing us for those moments. And aside from that, I think is the focus on education was really great because it wasn't just about, studying to pass this next test. It was about studying to set up your future. Even though we were young kids, from an early age, it was about making sure that we were prepared in the best way possible to tackle the world. So. Something that students would find surprising, or parents. I would definitely say that something that's surprising is probably the amount of how involved the teachers, the staff, our principal were, how involved they were in school activities and in school life. It was really cool because we had fun activities like, for example, we had the fun fair, which is a fair that we would do every single year. And just a way for students to have a lot of fun, bouncy castles, ice cream, food, all sorts of things. And I think what would be surprising for someone who doesn't know much about the school is the fact that the teachers are heavily involved. And even our principal, Mr. Kennedy, he's wonderful. He would be heavily involved. I remember a few years back, he actually ended up being in one of those water-filled tanks where you sort of throw a ball and then dunk the person into the tank. He was in that tank. I remember that. And that's something that's very surprising, but that's just sort of the type of thing that the teachers and our principal and all of the staff at the school wanted to make sure that they did, was be heavily involved in the fun aspects of school life. As much as they were involved in our education, they were really involved in making it just a fun experience for us. I definitely think it shaped who I am today, 100%. I always said that, OCS was my second home. And all of the memories I have from my childhood are either at home or at OCS. And the friends that I made at OCS are lifelong friends. So I think that it had such a huge impact on who I am today. I'm actually studying medicine now, which is insane because it's something I've always wanted. And I don't think I would be here without the influence that the school had on me. Just the drive and the determination that they showed us, I think that reflected in each of us. And I think also just the impact they had on my faith and showing me how to live life in a way that's pleasing to God. I think that ultimately was so important. And that's something that I learned from OCS. I think that the morals that I have today are really based on, what I took away from the school. I think the sense of community that I have, the ability to make friends and form lifelong relationships, I think that started at OCS. I think even just the small things like, making study notes, the way to study for exams and tests, like I still use those tips that I learned from OCS today in university. And I think that's ultimately pretty rare for a school, an elementary school, to have such a huge impact on, your life. But OCS ultimately did. It's my second home. My sisters, we all went to OCS, and I'm so thankful to the teachers, the staff, our principal, Mr. Kennedy, and the school as a whole, because they did such a great job, and they continue to do such a great job at making it just a wonderful place for someone to get an education. Well, I'll start off with something funny. I remember in grade 8 when we were graduating, all of us said, "Oh, why doesn't OCS have a high school? This is so unfair." So that's one thing. They should add a high school. Um, but in more of a practical sense, that's very difficult. um, I think OCS did a really good job, as I said, of preparing us for the future, preparing us for high school, all of that. Um, I think maybe the opportunity to, explore, I think, more of career paths and explore sort of things that would have come up in high school once we graduated. I think that would have been pretty helpful. Um, but I think they did a great job. I felt very prepared for high school. Um, but maybe in grade 7, grade 8, maybe if there were more of an emphasis on life after high school. But yeah, that's all I can think of. I'm trying to figure out something, but yeah. So I would say that right when I started, again, like I said, it felt very much like a family. It was my second home. And I could not imagine my life without OCS in it. It was weird. I remember an emotional graduating for all of us, because it was like, we felt like we were losing something that was so important to us and such a big part of our lives. So I think when I was younger, it just felt like who I was. It felt like my family. And now that I'm older, I think it's been really cool because I've visited the school a lot, and my younger sisters went to the school. It's been really cool to see the school from an outsider's perspective and see that they still have those values that I loved when I was younger. And also it's great to see the way that they're evolving. I think that's one thing that's really great about all of the teachers and the staff. They like to look at what's happening in the world, and they like to apply that to their teaching, to their education, and to just the general day-to-day activities that go on in the school. For example, we're on Instagram now. We were not on Instagram when I was younger at OCS. Even just our plays, they're becoming a lot more high tech, very, very, very in very extravagant productions. So yeah, I would say just the evolution of the school, like they've moved with time, if that makes sense. I think that's something that I've noticed. I guess you could say that as I've gotten older, I've noticed, and as I've gotten older and changed as a person, I've noticed that the school has also changed for the better, and that they're reflecting sort of the great things that are happening in society today. And of course, rejecting the things that maybe aren't so great. Mhm. Okay, so I would definitely say the first one is, if you're looking for a place that has a strong emphasis on Christianity and on faith, then OCS is definitely the place for you. They just do such a great job of course, educating students, but then also just planting those seeds, and encouraging students to explore different themes in Christianity, to learn more about the Bible. I had friends who went to OCS that weren't Christians, but they still loved attending and learning new things. And I think that it really helped us as we left and journeyed into the real world. So I would definitely say that if you're looking for a place that's very focused on God, then OCS is the place for you. Secondly, I would say that as a school, they do such a great job of educating us, and not only teaching us, math, science, etc., but showing us how to learn. There's a heavy emphasis on teaching us how to prepare for a test. It wasn't just about preparing for the test. It was, how do you study for a test? How do you study for an exam? I almost forgot to mention that the exams were difficult, but I think that was great because I felt really prepared once I got to high school. In comparison to some of the other students I went to high school with, I had the experience. I knew what it was like to write an exam in a focused environment. So just, yeah, I would say if you're looking for somewhere to get a great education for your kids, OCS is a wonderful place for that. And then thirdly, I would say that the leadership side of things is wonderful. They teach children how to be leaders, how to take initiative. I remember there's a chance for us to be house captains and to lead groups of students in the school, to be part of student council, things like that. We had speech competitions where we would learn about public speaking, just all of those different parts of leadership skills. I think OCS was really great at, and fostering that and teaching students to take initiative. So I would definitely say that would be something I would tell a parent if they're looking for that. OCS has it. I would definitely say that the school is a place where you can be involved in your child's life. That it's not just drop off your kids and leave and you don't know what's going on. They do a great job of bringing the parent in and giving the parent updates on this is what your child is doing, this is how they're learning, this is how they're growing. And I also think that the kids at OCS are excited to tell their parents about how they're doing in school, and they're excited to tell their parents about the stuff that they did throughout the day at school. So I would say that to prospective parents, that if you're sending your child to OCS, it's not just an experience for your child, it's an experience for you. I think even my parents would agree that they made lifelong friends at OCS. They made friends with parents who sent their children to OCS. So it's not just a great experience for the child themselves, it's a wonderful experience for you, and a great way to build a community as a parent, not just as a student. My advice for new students, firstly, I would definitely say enjoy every moment of it. It goes by so fast, because I feel like I was just there and now I'm not. So definitely cherish it and enjoy it. Enjoy every moment, every grade. Enjoy that first day of school feeling. Enjoy the last day of school parties. Enjoy the fun fair. All of the moments that you're going to experience throughout OCS, just to take time to take them in and enjoy it. And really appreciate not just the education you're getting, but the life lessons that you're going to get from your teachers and from the staff at OCS. I would also just recommend that you get involved as much as possible. There's so many ways to be involved in school life and to make friends, lifelong friends. And I definitely think students should take advantage of that, whether it's, participating in the play, in the school productions, taking part in the sports teams, joining student council, applying to be a house captain. Yeah, I would say just join in, do as much as you can, because it makes school a lot of fun. And lastly, I would say to new students who are going to OCS, use this time to soak in as much as you can about your faith and your beliefs. If you're already a Christian, use this time to take in everything that you're learning about God, because I think the school does such a great job of helping us to form relationships with God. And then if you're not a Christian, take time to explore, learn as much as you can, because aside from the faith, there are just wonderful life lessons that the staff and the teachers will teach you about how to be someone who lives their life authentically and confidently. So I would say those, I think I mentioned 3 things. I would say those 3 things to new students going to OCS.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.